Why am I? Can you
What
like?
the fuck?
You're like all over me and shit.
Get
like,
the
back the fuck
fuck
up
out
in
of
2
here.
seconds. Fuck's sake.
This is your house, but fucking leave. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Brotherhood Without Manners, your favorite full spoiler reread podcast of George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire series. As always, I'm your host, Zach, sitting here with me in this booth at this very moment, my brother Nate.
Fuck you, Zach.
Oh.
I was just highlighting the Without Manners part of our name.
He's salty, too.
Yeah, you're being an asshole today. In a good way.
Saltwater Taffy, he's really salty. If you've joined us before, we're full spoiler. I'm gonna sing things today, I guess.
I guess so.
We are full spoiler. If you've never joined us, we like to talk about the whole of A Song of Ice and Fire congruently. And if you joined us before, thank you. We really appreciate you.
Thanks for coming back.
You have such a wide variety in your choice of Game of Thrones podcasts, and we are just thrilled that you chose us.
Even with all this shit that
We
Zach does.
Also, interestingly enough, in the world of A Song of Ice and Fire, got an update from the man himself.
George Martin.
We're a little late on this update. We meant to mention it a couple episodes ago, but, we'll cover it now, where he... And you pointed out that I believe it was a Reddit post.
So he did announce that he's fallen a little bit behind on the writing. He got a good
he had a good headway in June.
But then slowed down, but he's back on his shit again. And he made this announcement, the way that it's lined up with the timing. The last time he made a certain specific quote that he said in this one.
Comparing Jon, because he said he was spending a lot of time with Cersei and Tyrion in particular, the Lannisters.
Yeah.
And previously, he had also said the same thing about Jon. He was spending a lot of time with Jon.
And that, things weren't quite done, but he was almost finished or working on shit. And then, 6 months later, the announced date was...
Right. So some people believe that, because that happened with Dance.
Right.
That may be...
Within the next 5 or 6 months, we're getting a release date.
Right. So that could be cool. Cross your fingers, We're not giving up hope.
So we will also, with this episode, be in our small council announcing our first guest. So make sure you stay tuned in the small council.
Don't skip it if you usually like to skip it. We got to make you stay this time.
If you joined us last episode, we were reading Sansa 2 from Storm of Swords.
Sansa.
And Sansa She was living it up, thinking about her dreams of marrying Sir Willis Tyrell over in Highgarden.
Yeah, she was getting measured for a gown, and she is just all aflutter about what this gown could be for, and she finds out that Cersei is having it made for her, but she suspects Marjorie and Olenna have their hands in it because she's marrying Willis, and believes that this gown potentially could just be what Cersei wants her to wear to the wedding, but she plans on taking it to Highgarden. Little does poor Sansa know, because she ruminates on it, that a couple days previously she had informed Sir Dantos of the plan of the Tyrells to take her to Highgarden, which he was vehemently opposed to. Don't do that. These Tyrells are just Lannisters with roses, and they want your claim.
Which we will learn from Tyrion 3 will be the confirmation that Sir Dantos immediately runs to Littlefinger and tells him everything. Right. And Littlefinger then goes to Tywin, and the whole thing's put a stop. And that's why she now has this gown being made for her, so that she can be married to Tyrion.
Yeah, the gown is for her own wedding.
She does go out hawking outside of the castle with Marjorie, where they're acting very sisterly, and Marjorie does not seem worried whatsoever about marrying Joffrey, which leads us to believe that she is also completely aware of the fact that he's going to be dead by his wedding day.
That's pretty much it. The seamstress mysteriously appears and disappears, and it's odd, but that aside, Sansa is just left wondering when the gown will be ready, because she cannot wait to wear it.
Right.
We're reading Sansa's sister today, though.
Arya
3. Arya 2. Arya had been grubbing for some vegetables in a dead man's garden when she finally met the first members of the Brotherhood Without Banners.
Right. Lem, Anguy, and Tom Seven Streams.
Tom Seven Strings.
What was
Streams.
that?
Tom Seven Strings. Streams. They scooped up Hot Pie, Arya, and Gendry and took them with them to an inn that was familiar in a Brienne and Jaime chapter where they had stayed and things were tense, only now they weren't tense at all. It was cool. It was chill. Sharna the innkeep was like, yo, what up? and fed them. And they were basically told, you're safe here. Whatever happened to you, you're with Kingsmen now. And they found out that these were the men that Beric Dondarrion had sent out, Ned Stark had sent out with Beric Dondarrion to hunt Sir Gregor. They were what remained. And so they think of themselves as Kingsmen serving Robert's small folk still. And another contingent arrived, which we learn in this chapter is Greenbeard, and the company leader, actually, of this band, who leads this whole group. He shows up, and with him is a couple other riders, one of which Arya recognizes as Harwin, who used to lead her pony around, man.
He was the son of the master of horses at Winterfell.
She calls out to him desperately, and he does recognize her as Arya Underfoot, and immediately tells Lem to unhand her, takes a knee, and declares her loudly as Arya Stark, the daughter of the Hand. And we pick up with Arya 3. The rains had come and went, the rivers were running high, and on the morning of the third day, Arya had noticed that the moss was growing on the wrong side of the trees.
We're going the wrong way.
As we know, this is Arya's fucking compass rose here.
Yeah, the moss on things. And
Gendry don't give two fucks.
He's not bought into the moss whatsoever since they started. And he's like, it's pouring. There's going to be fucking moss everywhere.
The river bends and loops. Maybe we're following it. Tom and Lem know these woods very well. Perhaps we're taking some secret outlaw way. And Arya's like, we've been heading south for like 2 days now. And I don't fucking like it because we need to be heading north, bitch.
Right. She starts thinking about Hot Pie. And little Hot Pie.
Yeah, because
he stayed behind.
There's no use arguing with the bull because he's the last friend she has.
Right. And she doesn't want to lose that.
Which I like that she's now started calling him the bull just because that was the name he gave to the Brotherhood.
I also like how she's finally confirming that they were her friends. Like, she's briefly mentioned it, but realizing it herself that she really did like Hot Pie. Yeah. And so they said their goodbyes. He finally learned who she was after all this time. And so he's not really sure how to act around her.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, my bad for kicking the shit out of you that time.
He tells her, he's like, I'm tired of the rain, the saddle sores, and being scared all the time, man. And Sharna just wants me to bake bread. There's ale and rabbit
and
here.
And he tells, like, they need someone here to bake
But then he also says, and it'll be better the next time you come through. You will come through again, won't you, when the war is done? And Arya's like, I don't know if the war ever will be done, but yeah, I'll come through. Which we got a couple listeners on YouTube, I believe, who said they really hope that reunion happens.
Right.
The show did it, but I feel and I'm sure many would agree that in the books it would be much more fulfilling, and I agree. I would love to see Arya come back to this inn.
We spent a full book with him in Clash
and find out that Hot Pie survives the absolute bullshit.
Well, because we've also seen that some innocent people just get killed for no reason as a small folk, and so it's very possible that he gets slaughtered.
Hot Pie, absolutely, I could see being a character that got killed off page.
But I think he's the one that's baking Lady Stoneheart's bread every morning.
And yeah, it's actually like a touching goodbye, and said, yeah, she apologizes. I'm sorry I beat you that time. Hot Pie was stupid and craven, but he'd been with her since King's Landing, and she'd gotten used to him. I mean, she still is having trouble admitting that. Like, she's fond of him at this point.
Right.
But they laugh because he calls her my lady, and she punches him in the shoulder, and it's like, no. And then they're like, ha ha ha. I broke your nose, and he's like, yeah, you broke Lem's too. And they share a laugh, and it's adorable. She missed Hot Pie more than she thought she would, but Harwin made up for it some.
Yeah, so she at least gets to chat with, somebody she's known from her childhood, and she does. She fills him in on everything. Almost.
So, she starts with his father Hullen dying by the stables in the Red Keep the day she fled. And he says, my father always knew he would die in a stable. I guess he just never really thought it would be
a lion to do it.
A lion to be the one to do it.
So I just think it's interesting. This actually made me think of the time that Jon met Jorah in the show, where he's like, he was a good man.
Yeah.
Or Tyrion, I think, was the one that was like, yeah, Jorah was good, but he's dead.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah,
and
Tyrion
he's like, oh, my
revealed
bad.
that.
And so it's just one of those things, I think, in this world to, offer those, hey, like, I knew your father, I found him dead.
Right, yeah.
And so the fact that that's the first thing she says to him at her age, to be, like, aware, like, I found your father dead. He was dead. He's dead.
Yeah, to give that.
Your daddy's dead.
I mean, it's that closure. Regardless, if you never know what happened, is he
Right.
still alive? Did he escape and is now living as a beggar? Arya gave him some closure. He is
Right.
dead. I saw him dying at the stables. And so, yeah, it sucks. But she told him of Yorn and much of what had happened since she'd left since she'd left King's Landing. But left out the stable boy she stabbed with needle and the guard whose throat she cut to get out of Harrenhal. Telling Harwin would almost be like telling her father, and some things she could not bear her father knowing.
Damn.
That Northman, do you think that that's going to be something that sticks with her up through Faceless Men?
I think it's important that it does. I don't think that the show was too far removed with her having, I don't want to call it difficulty losing herself, but she's going to be the Faceless Man that hides herself so
who retains
well.
it, yeah.
And
that's
so,
the hope, anyway.
Because I think it's important, because we talked about it with Jon and Robb in Catelyn's chapter, how they are very driven by that Ned Stark mentality. And we also then said it in Sansa's chapter. And so I think it's very important for these Stark children that do survive to retain that, because that's part that honor, as naive as it ends up being, as long as they're learning from it and not acting as stupidly as Ned does.
I mean, is it honorable to want to hide it?
Well, because I think that's more of the guilt of knowing that she killed people. She doesn't think she could bear for her father, who's he's the epitome of everything that she looks up to.
Right.
To find out. But I think that goodness of Stark, because that's the honor is partially good. Just them, having, you're supposed to do the right thing. And so I think that's what makes them the protagonists and not the anti-villains or anti-heroes, that they will have that we are good people because we're driven by this Stark. And maybe one of them
So who would you say do you think is more prone to, I guess an evil turn, Bran or Arya? Revenge-driven killer
I feel like
info-amassing
I feel
demigod.
like Bran it's easier to slip out because he loses more of himself.
They're both so focused in identity, though, that Arya's is literally
the difference
shifting to where she forgets herself.
Arya's is revenge.
Right.
And so once she gets the revenge,
you're a broken, empty shell of...
Well, that, yes, but some people can get that revenge, and then it makes them realize, they're broken, but that wasn't what I ever wanted. Now what can I do? Look at the Hound. He's a terrible person. He has his break.
Path, if it's...
And so I could see that for her, whereas Bran, he's not looking for revenge necessarily. He's being guided by this force to amass this power that's unimaginable.
Yeah.
And so I think that because he can lose himself that way, because there's so much more. Because Arya intentionally is losing herself to be able to train and do all that.
Well, that's the thing. She's walking that razor's edge, and one slip is very dangerous. I think if you're right, and she does...
But I think
my
she's
theory,
aware of
she's going to blow King's Landing. That's been my theory. If she survives that, we do not have Arya Stark in the series anymore. We have this Faceless Man who just blew up King's Landing. This is not Arya Stark.
I could see Arya Stark doing that.
I could,
and
but
she's going to be changed,
that
but
path,
I think it's going to be a trained change. She's going to be self-aware enough to retain herself, where if it's a revenge
Sandor Clegane is literally the epitome of revenge gets you fucking nowhere.
Right, and I'm not saying that it's going to be good for her that happens.
I think that
could be the point where she hits her rock bottom and now has to climb out and redeem herself.
I feel like that's where it's that's the line too irredeemable.
Because I could see it being
to stop
her setting out
there.
To do it.
It has to be,
then she has the moment where she's like, "No,
I
don't want to do this."
Not to bring it up, the show. It's got to be
events.
that moment in the show of Sandor or someone grabbing her and saying.
I think that if it's going the way you want, where she's blowing the city, she sets it into motion where it's happening. That's when she goes, "Oh fuck, no, I can't. This isn't right."
And dies.
No, not die. But but it's too late to stop it.
Or dies trying.
It's the
stop
candle,
it.
the fucking oil path being lit. But now she's too far away to stop it from hitting the fucking.
I think it's so interesting here, especially that she's already thinking of like, no, I don't want these people that connect me to home to know the things I've had to do. When in actuality, both of these things are understandable and forgivable. She had to do those.
She did, yeah.
Absolutely. And so
I see
that
it.
I think is a potentially slippery slope of her hiding things from people that she doesn't. I mean, they're outlaws here. They're, no one's going to be like, shame on you for killing.
But that's what it is, because he's got that semblance of home.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
It's the Winterfell
and that's
ties.
what mainly I'm drawing the
And so I don't
point
think
to is it's a slippery slope.
I don't think she's at all scared of the hiding it and stuff, and it's the who she's talking to, because she tells people, I killed man.
Well, that's what I mean. And I'm not. It's Harwin. It's because of home. That means it's Sansa. It's Jon Snow. It's these people she's going to lie to. Is what I'm saying. It's the implications further down.
I don't think she would lie to Jon about it. I think she would tell him.
I think at this point
he is not Ned. Because she looks to Jon and says, no, we know he's fucking Ned.
I was going to say, don't you fucking...
we are aware of that. To her, it's Jon.
She will see that instantly.
She will tell Jon anything. I think
she
even
will
now.
Here she would. Here in this exact moment.
No, I don't. After training as a face,
at the end, I don't.
Well, no, I don't think she's going to tell him everything. I think she would tell him she's trained, she's seen things, give him information. She's not going to... I don't think it's...
She's using sex as a weapon... Patreon, it's just that stuff, like how far she's gone. She can't tell Harwin.
Well, she doesn't need to tell Jon that kind of stuff.
I'm just saying the hiding of it, the needing to falsify information to not let them know how far you've fallen is slippery slope.
It's showing her skills, that she's capable of retaining information that doesn't need to be...
she is capable of being Arya Stark and separating.
I mean, maybe that's the problem, is I'm just too...
optimistic
I
is
don't
what I
want
feel.
her
right,
to not
like
lose
that's
herself,
what I'm scared of.
But
I don't want it to happen.
The way that things that are the way they're going, I don't see her completely losing herself, because she's having such a hard time forgetting herself. Even if it seems like she's not, there's always that fucking Arya Stark of Winterfell in there, and that's what Martin's trying to highlight. And so I don't think she's going to ever completely lose herself. She might break. She might hit a rock bottom.
Identity is just such a huge theme in hers that I could see that by the end it's completely changed and she's not who she started. So I just think this is a potential red flag of like, hey, this is where Arya started, like stuffing it down.
Because obviously she's not going to be who she was when she started.
Right. Character growth, is she going to be Arya Stark of Winterfell by the end of A Dream of Spring?
I think she's apt to be.
Or will she die?
I think she will be the Arya Stark that she told her father. I'm not. That's not me.
Right. I could deal with Arya Stark, the faceless assassin, the renegade killer.
I think Arya will be exactly who Arya. Who we would expect her to be at that point. I don't think she's going to go off kilter. And I mean,
basically, one of the biggest influences I think in that gets mentioned next, because she thinks neither did she speak of Jaqen H'ghar and his 3 promised names, and that again that. Which
I don't think is as outrageous. She didn't even tell Gendry.
No. I don't necessarily think it's outrageous, that one, but
I just think it shows that she's capable of maintaining some secrets that need.
Still, the iron coin was tucked into her belt, and some nights she'd take it out, remembering how his face changed when he dragged his hand down it. And Valar Morghulis, she would whisper before beginning her nightly prayer.
Yeah, saying her list of names.
Yes.
And then Harwin goes on to tell her about his story, about how Ned sent them out to stop
the 20 that went. Winterfell, only 6.
6 remain here. But it was all a trap by Tywin. He had sent out Gregor to lure Ned Stark himself out. Jeez. But because Jaime wasn't privy, can I point out the Edmure Tully comparison here? Jaime wasn't privy to the plan that Jaime attacked Ned Stark, as Arya points out, the time when Jory was killed.
Robb Stark
But that's not the worst of it.
But that's...
Ned Stark broke his leg.
Ned Stark broke
Thank
his
you,
leg.
listeners who emailed and used our joke. We love it.
We always
because it is clearly not the worst of it. But yes. So Jaime did not know about the plan that...
Tywin made the same mistake Robb did.
Right. And so the plan was not for
Beric
Dondarrion.
Tywin's could have been a little more time sensitive, though, with Jaime. He didn't...
So... Ned had thought that he would be going out himself to stop Gregor Clegane if he didn't have a fucked leg. And so that's the plan that was completely jacked. Tywin had set up a trap where as soon as Ned got out there, he would have been caught by the Mountain and his men. They would have fucking ran all over Ned Stark.
Right.
If Thoros of Myr wasn't there, could you imagine Ned Stark instead of fucking Beric Dondarrion as the Lightning Lord?
Right.
Like being resurrected.
Well, that's what he even says. Your father would have been killed or taken captive and traded for the imp.
Right.
And so he goes on to say, that's not the worst of it, of course. So your father couldn't go west. His leg was broken. And so he sent Lord Beric and 20 of his own men, me among them. And there were others too, Thoros of Myr and Sir Raymond Derry and their men, Sir Gladden Wild and a lord named Lothar Mallory. But Gregor was waiting for us. He had men concealed on both sides of the Mummers Ford, and when we crossed, he fell upon us front and rear. I saw the Mountain slay Raymond Derry with a single blow that near cleaved the horse's head off under him. Gladden Wild died as well, and Lord Mallory was ridden down and drowned. I thought myself doomed, but Alan managed to restore order to our ranks, and those remaining rallied around Thoros, and we cut our way free. 60 we had been that morning, and by dark no more than 20 remained, and Lord Beric was gravely wounded, having taken a lance through the chest by the Mountain. We were all certain he'd die, but Thoros removed the lance, poured boiling wine in the hole that remained, and then prayed with him all night by the fire. Come dawn, he was still alive, stronger than he had been, though it was still a while until he was able to mount up. His courage kept us strong, and after that all there was to do was to harry the rear of Tywin's host. Thinking that we'd join up with King Robert's march to crush Tywin's rebellion, then we heard that Robert was dead, Lord Eddard as well, and Cersei's whelp had ascended the Iron Throne.
Yeah, so we got a lot there to break.
That is a lot.
So first, before we get into that, I wanted to, again, briefly discuss the fact that Jaime did not get completely reamed by Tywin. Granted, he didn't really get a chance for fucking his entire plan. Could you imagine how quickly this all would have been done if Tywin had captured Ned Stark right off the bat, before they all went and got sent out? So I just think it's interesting that we sit here and bash the shit out of Edmure Tully, who did that to Robb, because he wasn't given the correct information, but Jaime doesn't catch any grief for that.
Well, he's not Tyrion.
True. Anyway.
So, Beric Dondarrion had a literal
What the fuck ritual? How is that all, like, we saw that Mirri Maz Dur did all sorts of fucking, let's slaughter babies and kill fucking cows and shit. Is it because there were so many dead people around and those were the lives that were sacrificed? Is it just because of the prayers and the magic and the fucking Lord of Light has chosen these people for these reasons? What the fuck? Was it just really good fucking wine? Like, what's happening here, dude?
That's the question. Is what Mirri Maz Dur was doing in Essos at all related? Is it fire magic? Who the fuck knows? Is this fire magic? Is this R'hllor? As, you know, Thoros is supposedly a servant of the Lord of Light. That's the prayers he's saying next to the fire. They are next to a fire. Is he channeling the Lord of Light? That seems to be the option, and we've seen the Lord of Light, or at least a follower of his, actively doing something with Melisandre's vagina baby. And so that seems to be the thing. But my questioning here is if it has absolutely fuck all to do with Beric Dondarrion.
Right.
And it's about Lady Stoneheart. And it's about...
Right, that's the
kiss of life. Right.
He's only needed to get to that point.
Like...
And that's, like again... Is that goes back to the root question? So how the fuck is it the Lord of Light saying, I need Lady Stoneheart?
Right, then it becomes, what is Stoneheart so important?
Right.
And to what degree, for what? It's, I mean, we won't know until
this is
wins.
the question of all questions.
What god or what force is active here. But Beric Dondarrion took a wound that I would argue would be tough to fucking fix in our time with a literal gaping hole in his chest from a lance, which is
not a small fucking.
I'm pretty sure that like doctors in our time would be challenged with a medical condition like that. So the fact that he is awake at dawn and stronger than he'd been, he's not up and doing jumping jacks, but the guy is
stronger than he's been.
Fucking there, breathing.
Yeah. So the half of the Brotherhood. Where did I lost my spot in the notes here just because we had gone off on a tangent there. Oh, some of them had wanted to yield.
Right.
They were like, so clearly we got fucked. Let's go, and because now Joffrey's king.
Oh, yeah. It turned everything on its head when Robert died.
And Beric stands in, and he's like, nah, like, we were sent out for a mission. We are not... The king needs somebody to, like, fight for his people. These small folk aren't safe anymore.
Yeah, we get the best line. We were sent out to deal with outlaws, but now we were the outlaws, and Tywin was hand of the king. So,
right, the man that they were out to stop and hunt, basically. Well, the man that was issuing the orders. And he says, but something odd happened. For every man that we lost, 2 more would join us.
Yeah.
And not just, men. It was knights, squires, common folk, women, children, even fucking dogs.
Even dogs.
Even dogs.
Is this Harwin suggesting that they've already captured Sir Gregor?
I was wondering
Sandor?
That. Like, is that what this means? Does that mean that, like, the church...
Because he says it with a fucking, like...
like, one of our lads keeps...
And so either... I can't
meanest.
recall... Either, like, some kid has Fang with him, like a really mean-looking dog, but he's just a big sweetie, and I don't recall any of the
meanest dogs ever.
Brotherhood Without Banners having a
And
dog.
so but the thing is I thought that the Hound shows up later on and meets up with the Brotherhood. He's not already...
But I thought it was basically Arya gets to meet Lord Beric. Arya's thing through the Riverlands really fucks with me, because they still got to meet the Ghost of High Heart.
Right.
So yeah, I'm not sure what this was. It just felt more than just like
I agree
a jest.
that there's something there.
But listeners, obviously, if you know, please. Arya recalls Nymeria because she's like, yeah, I wouldn't mind a nice big mean dog.
Can a dire wolf kill a lion? Yeah.
Why are you throwing your notes?
You had yours like right here when you were reading your quote. So get off my back.
Get out of my fucking face, Nathan.
Whoa.
Yeah. Could a dire wolf kill a lion?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
Me too.
I mean, I think it'd be a very good fight, because lions aren't little fucking bitch animals. But, yeah, they're not magically powered up.
'Twas the stag killed the dire wolf.
Anyway, it rained that afternoon, but the Brotherhood did not have to sleep in the little holes and hovels that Arya and her friends had been sneaking off in.
They had secret friends in all sorts of places.
This is cool. So they enter this little abandoned village that what appeared to be abandoned. And who is it?
Jack
B. Lucky pulls out a little horn, and he just does a couple little
little ditty
on the horn, and all of a sudden people just come swarming the fuck out. They're just out of basements and like secret rooms, and like I think some drop from the trees and all sorts of weird shit.
They all had like various pieces of stuff to eat, and so they ate pretty damn near a feast that night. And during dinner, Lem is told of Jaime's escape from Riverun.
Yeah, because somebody had come looking for them. Somebody, and again, now take note, not that Lady Catelyn had freed him.
Right.
But that he had escaped.
And Lem doesn't believe it at first, but yeah, no, it's pretty much confirmed. The hair on the back of Arya's neck stands up as she listens. This is where I noticed here, Jaime's not on her list. I went back and looked.
Yeah.
He's the one who, that's not the worst of it, broke her father's leg. But he doesn't get added to her list. Like
he broke her father's leg and technically killed Jory too.
Right,
but,
like he's a fucking Lannister fuck.
She hasn't really encountered him.
But this reaction, the hair going up on is very interesting. Like for someone she's not interested in.
I think it's the fact that he hasn't. I mean, he has obviously without her realizing, but like all the people on her list, she's had direct encounters with.
Yeah.
His encounters that have slighted her haven't been directly to her.
I get that, but it's still
I think the chill comes from she's not stupid. She's aware that he's the fucking Kingslayer. Like he can kick. He's a huge major player if he rejoins the Lannisters.
And he's nearby. He escaped from Riverun.
And then to hear that he escaped. And one person, Jack
Lucky.
again, but who's like, yo, I've been in those dungeons. There's no way he escaped. And that's the...
wink, wink.
Let's get in there and focus on that a little bit there, everybody. But nope, they just... Well, whether it's true or not, it fucking sucks.
Greenbeard, a.k.a. Pello of Tyrosh, says that the wolves will drown in blood if the Kingslayer is loose again. Thoros must be told the Lord of Light will show him Lannister in the flames. And so a village woman asks, would Lord Beric really hang someone as handsome as Jaime? And Anguy the archer is like, he'd give him a trial first, all jesting and...
He always does before he hangs them.
Excuse me.
And then little Tom Seven Streams pulls out his harp and plays a song.
Does a ditty.
He plays the song about the brothers of the Kingswood.
Yeah.
Which is funny just because... And it's clearly because of what they're talking about.
Right, that's where Jaime earned his knighthood.
Yeah, that's where he helped stop, with I think Arthur Dane
and Gerald Hightower. Yep.
And they stopped the Kingswood Brotherhood or whatever they were called.
I think Barry the Bold was there as well,
and, yeah, they stop them and he gets knighted, so...
In a corner, nestled between Gendry and Harwin, I love this little image. Arya slowly... And it reminded me of when you're a kid at, like, a Christmas party with family or something, and, like, it's getting late, you're full, like, and you're just, like, kind of curled up on the couch and you're listening, but it all just behind it becomes dull noise and slowly you're drifting.
Yep.
And she falls asleep.
Yes, she does.
And she dreams of Winterfell. Herself standing alone outside the castle in mud up to her knees. And as she's trying to get closer, it's all mucky. And most people have had a dream similar to that where you're sluggish and slow, can't move as quick as you want.
I've never had that dream.
As she approaches, you're weird. The castle fades to smoke, and there were wolves stalking her through the woods around. So, and when she looked at them, she remembered the taste of blood.
This is the transition from dream to warging, right? Is that's what I saw this as?
A nightmare.
Part of me felt like this was like a green dream, similar to Jojen's, where he saw the ocean overcoming Winterfell. She's seeing what happened after the recession of the water. The water receded. It's all muddy and murky. Like the castle's wiped.
Smoky,
it's done now.
Yeah, it fades.
And then it fades away as she's becoming part of Nymeria.
Yeah,
because she's in the
that's what I
Riverlands.
I was basically I settled on that, or it was a nightmare, and I don't even know if it necessarily goes into warging, where she just sees the wolves and it immediately is like, oh, like, yeah, I remember now that that's something I've done. But I think it could be, I like that it's a green dream, and she's seeing the remnants of her home, the state of it currently, and then kind of going into Nymeria, because that's pretty much it. Like,
the next morning, Arya learns, because it's pretty quick. She wakes up and she's talking and finds out
the rain's cleared, and she fucking rains up very suddenly, shouting that we're going south, and starts telling them how to get to Riverun. And Greenbeard says, as it happens, little lady, we know exactly how to get to Riverun. And Lem says, we're not going to Riverun.
Oopsie.
And she thinks I was almost there and recalls her dream last night. And that's what I think it is that it was just a nightmare. That's her fear is, she's almost there. She's almost home to her mother, but something's going to impede her. And Tom tells her, don't worry, no harm will come to you. But Arya knows Greenbeard has the lead here. So she turns to him and she's like, take me to Riverun and you'll be rewarded. And he says, a man who serves isn't like to take a golden squirrel for himself. He's going to take it to his lord.
I'm not a squirrel.
You are. And the Lightning Lord will decide what's to be done with you. And they tell her he'll do right by you. He'll probably just send you right along to your mother as you wish anyway. And Arya recalls all that she had heard of Beric, of him being killed by Vargo Hoat and Amory Lorch, and twice by the Mountain, this lightning lord who is so quick that he struck. If he won't send me home, maybe I'll kill him too. knowing what Beric does and everything, like reviving Stoneheart, that's just such a...
It's a crazy thing. So she says, why do I have to go see him? I don't want to see him. And they say, well, that's what we do with all of our High Lord captives. And that word captives triggers her,
Oh,
man.
yeah, it does. That PTSD kicks in hard.
And Arya took a breath to still her soul. So she's, the epitome of taking to heart the lessons from Syrio Forel. Because she also will then think of her little mantras for...
she thinks here, calm as still water.
And quick as a snake.
And then, she looks around, turns her horse's head, and thinks, now, quick as a snake, and digs her heels in, and she bolts.
Yeah.
Fucking out. Arya takes a quick breath to still her soul is one of, I think, the most poignant things I've ever fucking read. Right. Like, in this... context, the word captives is a trigger for her, and that's not to say that it's her fault, but that's, I think, one of my biggest concerns about her is the I will never again be a victim can be a very quick slope to becoming an aggressor, and someone who lashes out doing the same thing.
So now I think that taking a quick breath to still her soul is also going to is benefit to my argument earlier that right there is where she's going to be.
She takes that moment to compose herself.
She steals herself. She has this diamond soul in her that just she can always at some point focus on.
Man.
Yeah, and it could very well shatter at some point.
I love Arya, and I want her to hold on to all this, and it scares me because literally she's joining an order that you have to forget your identity, and
that's it. So it's really, how does she handle it?
How do you deal with that?
4 of them followed her, and she barges right towards Gendry.
And he's
like,
oh
shit.
Yeah.
I like that he doesn't follow.
Nope.
He's sticking with them at this point, similar to Hotpie and what he was saying when she made him leave Harrenhal. Like, I found some people that are like halfway cool for me.
Yeah.
And so Anguy, Harwin, Greenbeard, and Lem took off after her. Lem was lagging a bit. She's just charging through the woods here. And it's a chase scene on fucking horses.
Yeah, so
she's convinced that she can lose them, and after a glance, she sees that only Harwin and Anguy are keeping pace. Greenbeard's fallen behind a little bit, and Lem's just kind of gone.
Yep.
And she crosses through a stream, goes up and down a bunch of hills and hollows, and then finds a game trail.
Well, she's pissed because she's like, this is one of the fastest horses.
And I can't get open space.
I need open fields for his speed. So she finds a game trail, like, fuck it.
And just goes. And that's dangerous because of how the game trails are so wild and not cut.
Right. Thorns scratched at her face like the cats she chased in King's Landing. And she's out suddenly. Level fields before her. And she looks back, and Harwin is but 6 meters behind her, and she's like, no, fuck.
Not him, anyone but him.
And she's breathing hard. Their horses are all fucking panting and slathered as he rides up and grabs her bridle. You ride like a Northman, my lady. Lady Lyanna was the same, but my father was the master of horse, remember? And Arya looks at him with a face full of hurt and says, you were my father's man. And he tells her, Lord Eddard's dead, my lady. And he tells her, Anguy, Tom, Lem, these are my brothers now. Lord Beric, my lord. And he said, and he's like, do you understand? And she goes, yeah, I understand that you're not Rob's man. Like,
right.
And
I like all this with how, because we've learned this brotherly acceptance with Jon's chapters, accepting his brothers of the Night's Watch, replacing Rob specifically.
Right.
With other men and people that are able to be there for, and that he can be there for. And she tells him, like, Rob, he's a king. He has armies.
Right.
He doesn't need me. The small folk have nobody. We fight for them.
Right. And it's that, they bonded through ordeal. They were in the trenches together. Like, they all rallied and escaped as this group, rallied around Beric Dondarrion, whose strength in this revival gave them all courage to fucking realize everything we served doesn't rule anymore. And so we need to help these small people. And that's something Arya obviously can never understand. She's never been a soldier in a war. She's never been in the trenches with other men having a trap sprung like that for your lord, like,
right.
And getting that
seeing your men
discombobulated
that you for the last few days
right.
have been bonding with on the road on the way here,
right.
to just get massacred.
And so, yeah, she thinks I was a wolf, but now I'm just some stupid little lady again. And he asks, "Will you ride peaceful, my lady, or do I need to throw you over the back of my horse?"
I'll go peacefully. For now.
I love it.
But she thinks the for now.
Yeah,
she doesn't
course.
say the for now out loud.
For now.
And
that is the end of Arya 3.
Fuck, great chapter.
Dude, it's
sad, like, because it just like we said with Sansa, like, these poor girls can't catch a break. Every turn.
Right, like,
everything.
No, yeah.
Like,
they're not at fault for any of this.
Right.
And so the guilt they carry, the shame, the worries, the concerns.
Any of the outbursts or the rage, the killing even. Like,
well, that's what I mean,
them.
is, like, that's why it was like, no, baby, what is you doing? Harwin will be like, my girl, like,
you got him.
Yeah, you're a Northman.
Survived.
Like,
you did it.
you did what you had to do. You have Lady Lyanna's ferocity.
Right,
you're
absolutely.
gonna live. You're gonna scratch, bite, and tear your way.
Like, if she's a scared, 9-year-old girl.
Right.
But if she could see that, and that's asking a fucking lot of a 9-year-old girl, see the, Winterfell's fucked. She doesn't know that yet.
Yeah.
Winterfell's fucked.
Yeah, Arya's the most disconnected out of everyone.
If you find that out and realize there's not really a Winterfell to go to right now, I know you want to go home, these guys really are some of your best options right now. And...
Right, I mean,
if she goes,
they were serving your dad before,
right.
like, and
they're
still
the small
upholding
folk, for people.
that
honor,
idea.
Justice.
Yeah.
If she goes with Catelyn right now, you die at the Red Wedding too. I mean, there's the chance she might get taken hostage and married off to one of the Hoster's sons.
But
doubtful.
Yeah.
Like what?
Not
what
with Frey's rage
right.
there. Yeah, I think Frey would have just been too hot to.
Right.
Kill.
So she likely just dies there.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, right. That's this trajectory her story needs to take, but it's just such a rough go of it. But let's get some inductees going for this chapter.
Let's get to the small council and we'll fucking.
Yeah.
Whew. Alright, guys. After that rough chapter with Arya, it's time to settle in, call some inductees.
Saddle in.
Have this, what did I say? Is that what I said?
No, you said settle in.
Oh, saddle in. Yeah,
right.
Cool. So do you have your own inductee for this chapter?
Yeah, mine is going to Beric Dondarrion.
Sweet.
Because his courage kept them alive and going, and, well, not alive, but going, gave them hope. And, I mean, dude has survived, like, 4 deaths now. And the first one was a fucking lance through the chest, which, like... I just picture a hole that Thoros just fills with boiling wine to where, like, it's just bubbling in his fucking chest.
Like when Goku blows out a hole through, like, Boo or one of those other
Sure, our nerd is showing, but absolutely some anime.
Any anime where they blow a hole through
right, like, just brutal shit. So, yeah, Beric Dondarrion, and because the trajectory that has set him on now, where we know where he ends up at the end of this book, which is... finally at rest, but, well, maybe, depending on what happens when you breathe life into someone and give it to them. So, Beric Dondarrion, because he's only got the book left, and boy, he's got a fucking rough go of it to go yet. So, yeah. And the story of just the collective, what they did, the trap that they ran into, the fact that he survived and is still rallying these men is no small feat. Surviving a fucking trap at the Mummer's Ford by Sir Gregor, and damn. You?
I was having a lot of trouble picking on a specific one, but I think I'm going to go with the horse that Arya stole from Roose Bolton.
The fast one?
Because, like, motherfucker just put them through their paces. She was going up and down hills and, like, barreling down these gaming trails.
Arya's
and, like,
a killer rider, dude.
Yo,
yeah,
she was fucking awesome. I want to see her and Dany go on, like, a badass horse ride. Because she could be on her silver and...
Yo, Arya's going to be, like, standing on her horse and jumping like the Dothraki did in the show.
Yeah, dude, that'd be fucking cool. So, yeah, I'm going to give it to that horse who,
that's a good
I believe goes on.
We need quick
horses.
But
yeah, definitely need some horses.
All right. Well, those are our inductees. We, of course, got some from our wonderful listeners, starting with one from Karen. Karen says about Arya, "Bye, hot pie. No longer with Arya, but always in my heart. But Ned broke his leg! I remember, said Arya. He killed Jory. Jory had always smiled at me when he wasn't telling her to get from underfoot. He killed Jory, Harwin agreed. And your father's leg was broken. She had a direwolf once, Nymeria. Could a direwolf kill a lion? Ooh. Inductee Jory for always smiling at Arya and being loyal to Ned. Yeah, R.I.P. Jory. R.I.P.
Bye-bye, buddy.
I miss Jory.
Yeah,
still.
Jory's good shit, man. He was so cool.
Thank you, Karen.
Thanks.
We will always take Jory posthumously if we can even. So thank you for that, inductee.
Okay, so next we have our favorite French fry, Julian. He says, hello, brothers of the Kingswood. Ooh, that's some contention. Aw, that was moving. Hot Pie and Arya going separate ways. He killed Jory, Harwin agreed. But worse, your father's leg was broken. I know you did the joke already. Still worth it. So now, here's where I'm going to first pause your email.
Uh-oh.
How the fuck, when you sent this email like 2 weeks ago, did you know that we already recorded it when we're just now recording this? He's fucking reading the future, man.
Or we're predictable.
I guess we could be very predictable. I was a wolf, she thought, but now I'm just a stupid little lady again. Better than a mouse still, right? I don't know. She was pretty fucking devastating when she was a mouse, because that's when she was just whispering little names.
She's
in
a
people's
golden
ears,
squirrel
so
right now.
I think it just goes to show how quickly she's changing personalities, switching between these roles. Pretty great of that chapter to give us a real history lesson on what did Beric and these men face at first and become then. In the TV series, that wasn't clear at all. Here it is, and it was pretty cool too. Inductee, Thoros. Prayers do save a life, it seems. Have a good one there, Valar Miraris. Thank you, Julian. Great inductee, as always.
Prayers do save a life, it
Man,
seems.
I'm so excited to find out what the fuck happened, or what's happening with that shit, and especially with Thoros, because poor dude knows that he was just a fucking drunk that liked to get away with being a priest.
Right.
That's all. He knew he was horse shit. Not anymore.
And, well, thank you, Julian. We also got one from the Dreadfort, from Corey. He says, hey, guys, and just like that, Arya is now a captive. I hope she enjoyed her freedom while it lasted. I always enjoy it when she's compared to Lyanna. Even when Tywin's plans don't go accordingly, he still gets the job done. Eddard Stark is dead, and Tyrion is free. Rob should take a few notes from this guy. Seems like he did, not telling Edmure. His name wasn't mentioned, but my inductee is Syrio Forel. His lessons are so deeply rooted in her mind, it's almost like muscle memory, quick as a snake. Farewell, Hot Pie, you will be missed. I hope you enjoy making tasty bread and treats for all your future customers. Corey from the Dreadfort. Thank you. Syrio Forel is always a great inductee, too.
Another one that, like,
Syrio Forel is Cold Hands.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Fuck. Why didn't I think of that one?
I love the... And I think Syrio's intent is with the little monikers is instill them like muscle memory, quiet as a shadow, quick as a snake. Is you just need to react, you need to be, you need to do, and it's dope. And I love Syrio.
Great inductee.
Just so.
Thank you.
So we have an announcement.
So before we get to that, we do also want to give a shout out to our friend Sid for making a donation. We appreciate it so much.
We do. Yeah, we
Thank
do.
you. Thank you.
Do.
I also want to give a shout out to all the lovely people over on YouTube, Stephanie and Haven and everybody. You guys are great. We appreciate everyone listening and liking and commenting and messaging and all that good stuff. We hope you're still staying safe and healthy. But as we teased at the beginning, as we've been teasing for a while now, we are finally recording our first guest episode, which will be Tyrion 3. And that episode will be featuring. I was just.
We're not going to Fiji.
We're featuring our first guest, which will be one of the hosts of Planetos podcast, Micah Clark.
Hey!
I should probably pull up Micah's YouTube. I'll put his handle in the show notes. Give him a follow. Check them out.
Insanely excited to be recording this chapter with Micah. Planetos podcast is one that we listen to.
Yeah, they're very good.
And
Go
listen to
their
before
stuff.
we.
Brett and Travis and Mike over there is the recent.
And so yeah, we're
addition after a
thrilled.
few episodes,
And actually, it was really hard for me this entire chapter to not bring up. Micah has a great theory about Stoneheart and everything out, and so that's hard to not bring up talking about Beric Dondarrion and Stoneheart right now. But we wanted to save it for the end. We are.
Dude, turn the volume up on your phone, you terrible person.
I'm so sorry about that. I was trying to pull up Micah's handle so we could actually be kind hosts. Yeah, you can reach Micah at Micah_of Clark on Twitter. And
you can check out the guys
check
over
out
there
all
at
their
Planet
stuff
Hills
over there.
Podcast.
And his theory is pinned there, too, so give that a read.
It's so good.
Yeah, so we're excited to have him as a guest. We're going to be talking about, again, Tyrion 3, which is a hugely monumental chapter.
So we're going to have a lot of fun with that one. Look forward to that. But before that episode actually comes out, will be Samwell 1.
Sam's
is going to be... last first chapter point of view.
I think we incorrectly announced that.
And
I did.
You did. And Sam is going to be showing up, and it's a fucking banger of a chapter itself. So get us your inductees for Sam. Get us your inductees for... Oh, actually, I just received a message from Micah about his inductee for Tyrion. So look at that. He's already working on that. Y'all should be too. I think that we should actually give our socials so that they can know how to get those inductees to us. You can email us withoutmannersbrotherhood@gmail.com. We are on Twitter @mannerswithout and @carstark92 is the one Zach frequents. We're on Instagram @mannerswithout. Facebook.com/brotherhoodpodcast is where our group is. There's a private Facebook group where you can gain access via the Patreon, patreon.com/withoutmanners. Leave us reviews.
Yeah, that'd be
Apple
cool.
Podcasts. Those ones are important. They help us be seen by more friends. Tell your friends. If you got people that you know that like the books or haven't read them or have read them but didn't understand them and need a hand, point them our direction. Be like, check out these guys. They're all right.
If you hate them.
Whoa. Anyway, I think that about covers it for this one. Stay tuned, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Mela de Harris!
Peace!